Hey guys, welcome back to the workshop. As I'm sure you can read in the description for this video, today we're busting out the old sewing machine. For those of you who took home ec class, congratulations, you're finally going to be able to use this skill. For those of you who are millennials, maybe you should check out a DIY sewing channel before you get yourself involved in this video. I'm not going to be talking about how to use a sewing machine. I'm just going to go over the basic construction of some easy wing bags for you guys to make. So the first thing you're going to want to pick up is some sort of moving blanket. The ones that I picked up are off of Amazon. It was a box of 6 of them for 30-something bucks. It was really cheap, even cheaper than what you could buy at Harbor Freight for that quantity. And they're absolutely enormous blankets. You can easily make 2 good-sized wing bags with 1 blanket. And that's really nice. And really all you need is some good polyester thread. You can pick this up at any craft store or a sewing store. You want to make sure that it's polyester so that it holds well. And the reason you want it to hold well is this blanket's going to be stretched and pulled and all sorts of things as you sew your bag. Now, the other reason that you want it to be pretty strong is that, at least for me, in the grass field that I fly off of, there's little bits of grass and some dirt that comes over the course of the season. It's easy enough to take your wings out at the end of the season, clean the wings, and then just take the bag and throw it in the laundry. It's very simple to do that, and I've done a number of times with a couple of other wing bags that I've had, where I've been to someone's house with a plane on a trip or something, and a cat pees on it, or a dog pees on it, or you drop it in something funky at a campsite, or whatever. You can just throw them in the laundry and be done with it. The other thing is, these wing bags are not that expensive to make, and even if you do get a rip or something in them, it's not that big of a deal to sew a new one. So go ahead and get your shears and make sure your wife knows that you're using them for a legitimate reason. And let's get to work.
Alright, so the first thing you see me here is I'm laying out my wing out on the pad, and I'm measuring the total distance of the wing. And the reason I'm doing that is you want to account for a little bit of overage. So here I'm counting out 4 additional inches, so that's 2 inches on each side, because as you put the wing in the bag, it's going to expand. So I'm going to mark out the wing length plus an additional 4 inches. I'm going to mark it twice at 2 different lengths and then create a line. Next, I'm going to take the wing and I'm going to measure the widest section of it, because I'm just creating a rectangular bag here. So I'm going to measure the widest part of it and I'm going to add 2 inches on it. Again, that's trying to account for the volume inside the bag once you get to it. Here I'm marking 18-inch intervals, and you're going to mark this 4 times. So again, I'm marking on both sides here and create a line. And these are going to be fold lines, and I'll show you more about this in a minute. So here I'm marking my last 2 lines at the bottom of it. Again, I'm making sure that I have 4 individual panels out on one single piece of fabric. You can see there's a little bit of overage on the end, but we're going to keep that. That's going to be a little flap at the end. So then I'm just going to cut off the excess, and this is a used blanket, so I'm just cutting off excess that I really don't need. Now I'm cutting off the excess on the other side that I don't need there as well. Now I'm going to do a fold. And you see I have got my blanket, and I'm going to do an accordion style fold here. And I'm going to try to line up with my marks as best as I can, making sure everything is as straight as possible. It'll make things a lot easier for it when you get to the sewing machine. Alright, here at the sewing machine, I'm going to go ahead and put one edge into the sewing machine with the presser foot down, and I'm going to do a back and forth just to make sure that my stitch is going to be nice and secure at each end, and I'm going to sew up the whole side and secure it at the other end with another back and forth stitch. Now I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So now that my ends are all stitched right, we're going to invert the bag. The thing is, with the accordion fold, when you invert it, you end up having two pockets sort of on the outside. It kind of doesn't make sense at first, but see, there's one on the outside and the one on the other outside of where the flap is. So once you invert it, you're going to invert it again, and then you will be left with two pockets on an inside, and the seams that you sewed are completely concealed. And then you'll have a little flap to fold over the top. Now to secure the flap, I'm just using little pieces of leftover Velcro from battery straps that are in my chest. I mean, you don't have to go crazy here. Some people would even argue that you need zippers, but I'm just using little pieces of Velcro. I might do a more elaborate wing bag if I felt like I needed to for a particular model, but this is just a basic wing bag. You guys get the idea. So put the Velcro toward the edge of the flap, and I'm just gonna sew it down, a couple of strips of sewing, and that's it. Now that the initial soft part of the Velcro is on, I'm gonna mark out for the rough part, and just folding over the flap, use my marker to mark an approximate location. Then I'm gonna go ahead and sew that in with a couple of more stitches. Then I'm going to do the same thing on the other end of the bag. So I've got two pieces of Velcro holding down the flap on each side. So now my bag is complete. So the way that you put, well, at least the way I put my wings in my bag is leading edge first, just because it's a little more robust. And again, I've got these little corner pieces here. I don't want those to get damaged as I set the bag down. But note how I'm putting the servos with the servo arms out, away from the center. You've got two pockets here, so you want the smooth edges up against each other so that when you're traveling, you don't have a servo or a servo arm or a linkage digging into the other wing. You want those toward the outside. Close with the Velcro, and you've got yourself a wing bag.
So guys, that's really it. It's really that easy to do. You can make these all sorts of lengths. You can make them trapezoid shape if you want to. You can sew on a piece of rope, or even make some sort of strap for a harness or a handle of some sort if you really want to get creative that way. I just prefer wing bags this simple way because it's easy to just throw in the car and go to the flying field. And I don't have to worry about the wings sliding all over the place or getting dinged or getting a small hole punctured through something. It's just, it makes life really easy, and it's very simple and affordable to do. So thanks so much, guys, and I hope you use these things to protect your flying works of art.